Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short. Let's talk about Silent Hill. Silent Hill as we know it, Silent Hill as we played it, Silent Hill as where it stands today. And I mean across the entire breadth of the franchise. We're going to throw in the movies as well. Hell, if you've read a book or a comic, throw that in as well. And because it's a franchise that's pretty fucking big. You kind of forget how big it is because of how little has been done with it in recent times. Up until the last year or two, when obviously we got the remake of Silent Hill 2. There's a new movie about to drop, which I'm so worried about. How worried are you about that? Honestly, have you seen the screenshots and the teaser trailer? I thought, wait, it looks like it's the same fucking film it was. And because it's coming from the same director, Christopher Gaines, I'm even more like, is this a good idea? Is this actually going to be what we want? Like, what do we want? That's the question, Dave. Actually, there it is. Let's start with that. Damon, what do you want from a Silent Hill movie?
Just stick to his roots and just copy, not copy, but just go from the game. It's not that difficult.
Do Silent Hill 1, basically, yeah?
Yeah. Literally, you could do a film easily on one game each. It's not that difficult. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, so
inevitably you would run into the difficulties. Obviously, as a game, we can't just have a film running around the streets and being like marking up the map with red X's and stuff like that. But there are so many elements. If you just took the basic plot, the outline of Silent Hill 1, and turned it into a film, I think, just do that.
I mean, the things like the map, okay, that is so easily done. All you got to do is one point, he pulls out a map, and it is markings on the map.
It's an Easter egg. It's literally an Easter egg.
Exactly, an Easter egg, exactly. But I just think it's going to be another flop. And I read some of that they're making more Resident Evils too. By the way, I've got to throw that out there because it's just madness.
Right. I'm going to bring it back on topic though. You're absolutely right. Because Resident Evil will be for another video though. Completely, it's big enough franchise in that regards. But basically, like I agree. I don't. The problem is this. I do see though, right? They've got to have Pyramid in there in some way, a nurse and stuff like this, and all elements that don't actually fit. Silent Hill nurses, and we all know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
They that was not how they were in the original game. In the original game, they were very humanoid with kind of growths on them that controlled them, but they didn't move like. That basically is how all Silent Hill nurses have been portrayed put to this day. And that this new film is doing that same thing. And the same thing is Pyramid Head is a character from Silent Hill 2. Not in number 1 in any way, shape, or form. See the problem they've got. And ultimately, a casual watcher, not that I imagine there are many casual watchers of Silent Hill, but a casual watcher will be expecting to see something like Pyramid Head. They will. So they've got to find a way to jam it in. So the realistic way you do it, let's be honest, is if you're going to make a new Silent Hill film, just do Silent Hill 2 then. Right?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is it's going to make money. I guarantee it'll make money. It'll be a small budget. It'll be a small budget. There's not going to be some. I mean, we're not going to get a Sean Bean in this one. Put it that way. So it'll be a small cast. I doubt there'll be anyone famous in it or anyone big named. And
okay, I'm gonna have a quick look. Actually, see if we can get Return to Silent Hill. I mean, if that's called Return to Silent Hill, it makes it sound like a fucking sequel.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, it is supposedly based on Silent Hill 2. And obviously it's using characters like that. But from what I've seen, it didn't really feel like it very Silent Hill 2. Jeremy Irvine, Hannah Emily Anderson, and Evie Templeton. So that's all the cast we've got at the moment. To be honest, there's not a lot of detail about it. But it's supposed to be released into 23rd of January 2026. And then Europe in February. Well, that's always smart, isn't it? 2 different release dates. Well done, guys. That definitely won't result in piracy. So stupid. Jury's out on that front, but that's kind of it. That's kind of where we're at with that one. I mean, will I watch it? Of course we'll watch it. I'm looking forward to seeing it because I love the world of Silent Hill. Not as much as I used to, though, and that's mainly because of diminishing results over years.
Mm.
Do you remember what your? Do you remember a moment from the original Silent Hill game where you went, "Okay, this is the shit"?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about literally about 5 minutes into the game.
Mm,
Literally, the moment you run down the dark alley and then it
yeah,
turns to the dark world, straight away, I mean, being a fan of Resident Evil Series 2, but during that period there, it was
yeah.
like, what the hell's going on? And just entering that world, it was just so dark and twisted and scary. Scary. I mean, considering we were children when we played this, it's amazing that we're not all basically fucked up, really. You know,
Well, we grew up in a diet of horror at a young age, inappropriate young age as well. So, but
mm,
you are right. I think it's roughly the same as well. I think it's the alleyway bit with the swinging camera, the sort of mutilated dog, and then
mm,
how it transforms around you. I think that was one of the most, and I still think it's one of the most attention-grabbing horror introductions today. I'd argue, is that more potent than the Resident Evil introduction. The zombie turning its head. Now that's iconic, but like
yeah,
from a horror perspective,
I think
I was
Silent Hill was
always
more.
more
Yeah,
disturbed. I was always more disturbed by like I've always found in horror mutilations and stuff like that
mm,
disturbing. Like that kind of horror that transforms people into things and creatures and destroy the body. So like I don't know. I think Silent Hills is more effective.
yeah. I agree. Said, and I'll always remember every time you hear that a sort of like an alarm sound, alarm bell going. You
Oh,
knew
the
it was.
siren, the siren,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
siren.
siren. Yeah, you knew that. Yeah, straight away. You knew you were changing into the dark world, and you thought, "Here we go. Now it's going to get a lot more difficult." You know. But I
And
don't
then
know.
along comes the fucking movie to because that siren should have stayed mysterious. Should have
Yeah.
stayed mysterious. And here's the movie, and it's like, oh, it's just a siren sitting on top of a church. Stop ruining. Let our imagination be
Yeah.
that. You know?
I mean, it's hard to sit here and discuss which one had more of a effect on me horror wise. Obviously, between the Resident Evil and Silent Hill,
Of
but
course.
if I probably would swing more towards Silent Hill as a more horror and scary wise, where zombies have been so overplayed on everything, games, films, and I think Silent Hill was a bit more different. It was way different to what I expected.
Well, I 100% agree. It's psychological horror. It's a
Mm.
different thing. Silent Hill plays around with your mind. It asks you to think about things in a different way. Resident Evil is, when it comes down to it, zombie, shoot, bang, dead, and stuff like that. And the franchise would continue. I mean, here's a good example. We keep bringing up Resident Evil. There is no talking about Silent Hill almost without constantly referencing Resident Evil, particularly from our era, because we were
Mm.
playing effectively the two side by side by side. Now, Resident Evil would run away with it because they would release games. Well, we would get three on the PlayStation 1. Yeah,
Mm.
was it three? No, four, because we had Resident Evil Survivor. Let's not
Yeah,
forget
yeah,
that. Whereas Silent Hill was the only one that released on the PlayStation 1.
yep.
And it was why I would not play another Silent Hill game until basically I wouldn't play another Silent Hill game until they released the Silent Hill 2 and 3 HD
Mm.
collection. And I know fans hate that collection, but those were my first experiences of 2 and 3.
Yep, me
And
too.
but I love those. I love that collection because of that. I understand they really butchered the ports and made a mess of it and stuff like that. I get that, but it was my first experience of both games, and I loved both inherently. With that, you did the same then. So that's when you played 2 and 3, right?
Yep.
Off the top of your head, what other Silent Hill games have you played?
Homecoming.
Yep, Homecoming. Basically,
Uh,
I think I've done all the ones in the Xbox 360.
2, 3, Homecoming. Obviously, I haven't played the newest one at the moment, but obviously that'll be at some
F,
point.
yeah. At the time of recording, that's pretty much brand new, so that's not a big deal. And I am playing it.
Do you know,
I'm trying to think what other
that might be.
ones.
I think that might be it.
All right, I'm gonna try and get. list of the games that have actually been released. Right, okay. So
Yeah.
1999, we get Silent Hill.
Mm.
2001, we get Silent Hill 2. 2003, we get Silent Hill 3. That is some consistency.
Every 2 years, it's good.
We would then get Silent Hill 4, The Room in 2004. Now, this is one I've always been
Mm.
intrigued to. I've always been intrigued to play because I really like the concept, but I understand that it's very untraditional. It's also the end of Team Silent, them being involved with the games, which is a big clue of
Uh,
what's coming. But
yeah.
have you ever watched any playthroughs of The Room, Silent Hill 4, The Room?
No, you saying it now? That's the first time I've actually heard that name.
Yeah.
So,
Go watch a playthrough of it. It
mm,
seems like a challenging game and very non-traditional. Uh, but I've always been intrigued about it. The one I'm really intrigued by to play is Silent Hill Origins. This came out in 2017. It actually
mm.
on the PSP, the PlayStation Portable.
Okay,
It
yeah,
would then get ported to the PlayStation 2. From my understanding, that this one is like it's a prequel to Silent Hill, but kind of uses like elements from the film and
okay,
aspects like that. Again, watch a playthrough on
yeah.
YouTube, and you get an idea. I think I'd probably quite enjoy that one.
I mean, I would just love, I would love an entire pack of the entire games, obviously remade and all released, and obviously not affecting any new games going forwards. But I'm sure at some point it will happen.
In these games, I would say just a re-release, not even a
Yeah.
remake kind of thing, would be more than enough. But then we have Homecoming in 2008 and Downpour in 2012. And that is where things are at. But we did have more remakes. Did you know this? So I played both Homecoming and Downpour.
Mm.
Favorite out of those two. Off the top of your head, which one stands out as a better game?
Well, I've only played Homecoming, so obviously I'm going to
Oh,
go
you
with
haven't played
Homecoming.
Downpour?
No, I haven't played Downfall. No, 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 no,
Ooh,
no. So
interesting.
yeah, so
So
2012.
I prefer the story of Downpour. I think
Okay.
Downpour has got a better idea in regards to the rain and the water and how that's used.
Mm,
But Homecoming feels more Silent Hill.
yeah.
You know, do you? They're both considered bad games. Do you concur? I mean, what's your feelings on that?
I find I find it very hard to criticize games like Silent Hill and I'm going to say again and Resident Evil because these are games which I was basically grown up on, and I always want them to do well. But I personally I enjoyed Homecoming. I know we got a lot of stick and a lot of hate, but I think again people lived too much in the past and they're expecting a Silent Hill 1 game in Homecoming and stuff like that. It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, you're never going to get another masterpiece like that one again. You get something
Mm,
close to it, but never that masterpiece, that genius that came out, you know, at that time. Sorry, unless they remaster it and then re-release it, then
we are.
we'll have a
That has been
yeah,
that has
yeah,
been confirmed. That has
you know,
been confirmed. We'll probably get it next year at some point.
yeah,
Then,
and that
but
game
what do
there
you
will because
say? But what do you say to the fact that the general consensus is that the first Silent Hill isn't the masterpiece? Silent Hill 2 is the masterpiece. What do you say to that? Like, what's your response to that?
I can understand that.
Mm,
I can understand that 100%. But for me personally, and my personal view, I put so much time into this game. I played it for such a long time. I played two, of course I did. But number one will always be the one that
special.
got going. Yeah, exactly. It'll always have that special place. And when it gets remastered and re-released, that is going to, other than GTA 6, whenever that happens, that is going to break box offices, in my opinion. You know?
Really? Oh, that's a right. Okay, that is insane. I think you're
Yeah,
absolutely insane. I think it'll do. Of course, it'll do well in the
yeah,
regards to
yeah.
that. But I think you're always like no casual gamer is going near Silent Hill remake. No casual gamer gives a shit. No
Mm,
casual gamer does. All casual gamers want a casual gamer. I don't mean to insult that group. A casual gamer wants three games. Three games.
Call of Duty.
FIFA, whatever latest entry is. Call of Duty, whatever latest entry is. Grand Theft Auto 6. That's it.
Mm,
Those are the games that sell. insane. And that's not to say other games don't do brilliantly well as well,
Yeah, yeah.
but Silent Hill will still have a niche audience, a big niche audience, and it will do
Mm,
well. But don't let's not no casual, because Silent Hill is not for the casual gameplay a player anyway, in my opinion. Now they can,
mm.
with a remake, they can fix a lot of the issues of the first game, and that's what we'll talk about now. I think. Come on. Name some issues that you would want to see fixed in a remake of Silent Hill.
I mean, one that springs to mind straight away is the camera angles. I think some of the camera angles were, although some of them were excellent, like for the alleyway, for example, but some of the camera angles in that game were absolutely ridiculous
Well,
control.
then I have to jump in. The only way for that to work is then for them to step away from the fixed camera and to go
I know.
from an over the shoulder perspective. Are you
Yeah.
comfortable with that?
No.
I am. Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I think fixed camera angles and stuff like that are long gone. I think Resident Evil, back to Resident Evil again. Resident
mm,
Evil changed the game with Resident Evil 4, and I think anything but that is absurd now.
I think they should give you an option where you can change it yourself in the game, whichever
That's
camera you want.
insane. That's like two separate games. You can't ask them to do
Yeah.
that. It's too much.
Yeah.
You're being too demanding. If
Yeah.
you
It's
want
probably big,
fixed
really.
cameras, you are going to end up with problems. You can do sections. I would argue, right? I would do this. I would start Silent Hill off exactly the same with fixed cameras all the way through the alleyway.
Oh,
And then
okay.
when
Yeah.
you get knocked out, and and you wake up and that part continues, that's when the gameplay switches. And you're now
Yeah.
in the town. Imagine exploring that town from over the shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's way more exciting. That's how I would do it. So you give people a little bit of a nostalgic hit. There's your, and even copy the camera angles. Copy the
Mm,
angles, have the same swinging camera, do all of that shit, copy it, and then change the formula. Because
yeah.
that's basically like your cold open, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, another thing, I
I
would be intrigued. I'd
Go
be
on.
intrigued to see what they could do with the sort of like the mist, and see what they could do with that. Because obviously I remember in the original Silent Hill games there was nothing beyond the mist. I'm not saying like you're going to see something like just intrigued to see what they could do with that sort of with today's graphics, what they could do with it. So
Okay, I'm surprised you haven't done the big one. I'm going to do it then. I'm going to get in there because I thought maybe you'd mention it. I think the best thing they could do is fucking rewrite that story. Rewrite
okay,
that story so it makes sense. Damon, please tell me what is going on at the end of Silent Hill, and not using any of the things you learnt from the future franchise or the movie, because the movie is different. What the hell did you learn from that game? What's that big demon thing you fight at the end? Why is there a giant
uh,
maggot? Why is there a giant maggot, Damon? Why are you fighting, not a maggot, what is it, like a bug? Why are you fighting a giant bug?
yeah. I mean,
What
obviously
happened in the hospital? Why are the nurses walking around with lumps on their back?
the bosses are questionable. You don't you fight like a giant
Why
bat
is a
too or
moth?
something?
The moth.
I say a moth, yeah, yeah, the moth, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Explain this to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the story will definitely need tweaking, but then I suppose you could say the same thing, like what the nemesis, zombies and
No, I
hunters
know
and
you
ninjas.
can't. Right, you can't bring No, you can't. Resident Evil story makes fucking sense. Evil
In the boroughs, yeah.
corporation, bioweapons, accident. Very
Mm,
simple. Silent Hill's story only makes sense when you invoke all different things into it,
yeah,
including which ending's legit. Now, I maintain that it's the alien
yeah.
ending. It's not, obviously, but which ending is
No.
legit, right? What? Explain to me the ending where you and Sybil escape and then find a baby at the grave. Explain that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
It's
when
fucking messy,
yeah,
basically, is my point. So tidying up that story. Another thing, use darkness, but not the way Silent Hill used darkness. What's the worst part of Silent Hill, in your opinion?
I mean, I don't
I
know,
ask
sir.
because I've got an answer.
Yeah,
Let me give
as
you
a
mine
difficult,
and see if it
yeah,
prompts.
yeah, yeah.
Post the bug fight, you end up in the streets. It's one of the first time you're in the Silent Hill transformed
Mm,
streets. And it is a fucking nightmare to navigate.
yeah,
And it's really narrow and it's really linear, and you've got enemies coming at you left, right, and center that all you can do is run, and you'll constantly reach dead ends where there's no way to go, and you're dealing with these monkey monsters and flying creatures kicking you in the back of the head. It is fucking horrible to navigate. Absolutely nightmarish.
It's also very dark, if I remember.
Yep.
It's
Very,
pitch
very
black.
dark. So
You got your
really
little,
hard to see.
yeah, you got
Yep,
your
with
little
that same
torch.
torch and those fixed camera angles.
Yeah,
Horrible
yeah.
to navigate. Now, here's the thing. I think that is one of my, whenever I think of bad things about Silent Hill, that's one part. But Silent Hill 3 shares similar things as well.
Mm.
Silent Hill 3 and the mall. The mall, when it's transformed,
Yep.
is horrible to navigate. Two examples of some of the awful, and I get it's supposed to be disorientating. I get that. But it ain't fun. It ain't
No.
fun.
So what
Where
would
do we
you say?
never throw anything into Silent Hill 2, though? That's interesting, right? Actually, you know what? We can. Although it's not a big enough deal, it's not as big of a deal as some of the others, but it's still not fun to explore. The fucking prison. The
Oh, yeah,
fucking
yeah,
prison.
yeah, definitely, yeah. I don't know. See,
But the reason why, sorry, let me just finish this thought.
yeah,
The reason why Silent Hill 2 doesn't get like that same level is because I'm going to answer a question I asked you. Silent Hill 2 is the superior game in every way, shape, or form. When I think about what's the best bits of Silent Hill or the best things, loads of them come from Silent Hill 2. Loads of them. You know?
yeah. But then the argument I would always say that if you had a 1 and 2 in front of you right now, which one would you pick up and play?
2.
What would you say?
There you go.
I'd probably go 1 because it's been such a long. I mean, it's got to be at least 10 years since I last played the first one, at least. You know,
I get
so
it. I get it. Like I get it from a nostalgic point of view because Silent Hill 2 is more not. I haven't got the nostalgic thing that others do. It's definitely a nostalgic point of view. I completely get that, and I will when that remake comes out, provided it's not an exclusive again and all that nonsense. I will pick it up. I'll pick it up,
yeah,
but I will. I'm just talking about. I think the games that really had like real impact on me, and I think unsurprisingly, 2 had more of an impact in the end because Silent Hill 2 came to me at a time when none of that shit existed. Resident
yeah,
Evil was in a bit of a mess at that stage as well. So like I think it was just really fresh and interesting to sort of see what people were banging on about it for so many years, even if it was a lesser version. Remember, Silent Hill came out in 1999. We had Resident Evil 2 by that point.
yeah. So that
Tough
that
thing to
that,
live up
that
to.
that's the problem too. Yeah, obviously, it came out during a period where Resident Evil 2
Was
was out. So
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. But like none of the modern stuff stands. None of it does.
no,
Like
no,
by
no.
like the fact that like you haven't even played Downpour, you could probably pick that up for like nothing. It's an Xbox 360 game. You could probably pick that up for a couple of quid. Keep an eye out for that because that's a
Yeah,
Silent Hill
well,
game you've never played.
yeah.
And it's got some good stuff.
I was going to say, so going back to the first one, what would you consider your best best area on the map?
What like to play and explore?
Yeah, like yeah, the most freakiest area, like or like your memory of it, and what could happen in the remastering, and what they could do with that area.
I think it's a combination of two things. It's a
Mm.
combination of two things. I think the school is probably the one that I'd really like to see them really explore that because I think the school's got some of the game's best scares in
Yeah,
regards to how silent it is, Silent Hill, silent it is when you first get there, to the transformed world and with the feels more terrifying. I would like to see them be more imaginative with the monsters. None of that
mm.
squeaking baby shit. Weirdly, that's something the film did better. In
Mm.
the film, they're portrayed as kids
Yeah,
screaming in pain from having been burnt.
hmm
That's cool. Whereas in the fucking game, they're not enemies. They fall over they're like fucking weebles, and then they
yeah,
squeak. And then in the EO world, or when
yeah,
the bad guys, they're little monsters with claws that just hang off
yeah.
your legs. Fucking, and then you got the cockroaches, but you get some good scares there. The school has one of my all-time favorite scares in gaming.
Mhm.
You go into a toilet and you hear someone crying.
Yeah,
That's it. I think that's horrible. And again, I think actually weirdly, the movie, the first Silent Hill, did the school quite cleverly as well to show a victimized child. There's an element of sexual abuse involved in that. Like I think that weirdly that's a strong actual thing from the film as well. So I think that,
yeah,
but outside there are some really cool things. Like even outside the school bus and how haunting all of that is there. There's the bridge area and that silence, and when you're moving to a totally different part of Silent Hill,
Yeah.
things like that are worth exploring. The sewers are always
Hmm.
good. There's all these different areas, but I definitely think the school is likely to be one that I would really like to see them be clever with.
Yeah, I mean, the school for me too, but I mean, a lot of people I'd expect would say the hospital,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
The
But I
hospital's
mean,
challenging from a puzzle perspective because of the
yeah,
different floors.
yeah. So I always remember as a kid, like for the school aspect, of always walking into the school, and the first time seeing the squeaky baby things, well, it was freaky.
Mm.
But now that I think about it now, it is quite laughable, you know. So
Oh
that
yeah,
I
it's
always
weird. This is
refer to them.
weird.
They always reminded me when I last played it was like ages ago. It always reminded me of the little babies from the little baby from Ally McBeal. Do you remember that little
Oh fucking
baby? Yeah, I don't know why, but it always reminded me of that bloody baby. You know,
That's
whenever I
fucking
played it.
weird.
I
No,
know,
that's cool. I get it.
but
I get it though. Yeah. Oh god, big up Adam Bill, except for season 5.
yeah.
Was
But
gonna say
I
what?
do.
Go on.
No, I was going to say I do think that with today's graphics, they could really it could be a proper terrifying game.
Well, have you looked at any of Silent Hill 2 remake?
I haven't. No, no. I mean, I've heard of it. I've read things about it, but because I'm so skeptical, I'll wait until I actually see it being released. Because
Oh, I
the
mean,
amount of times I've heard of like Konami are refusing to let let things go and stuff like you know.
it's not Konami. Konami. It's the exclusivity shit with PlayStation.
Is it
Um,
okay?
like that stuff. What's it called it? So it's still not got official. Basically, it doesn't. It's expected to be released anytime soon,
Okay.
anytime soon. Like basically, the timed exclusivity for PlayStation ended
Mm,
October 2025.
okay.
So it seems like they're probably not, and they've got a ESRB rating, and you know what it means. If it's now got a rating, it means it's about to come. So no official announcement. People are kind of wondering if they're just going to shadow drop it. That one day it's just going to be like tomorrow it's there.
Do you think like maybe towards Christmas maybe because I have to get a boost or something?
I mean, they might just be looking at the release calendar and trying to find a spot for it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because they've done all that promotion for it on PlayStation. I'm very excited for it. I want to play it, but it's probably not going to be an instant priority for me purely
Mm.
because of other games. And shit, I want to put more time into Silent Hill F. You know, at the time of recording, the time we did this video, I haven't put enough time into that game, and I am really enjoying it. I am. You
That's the
know.
thing. That's the thing. As I said, we said you said in the previous videos that it's excellent that they're remastering new games, but then if you put Silent Hill F on hold to play Silent Hill 2 remastering, that kind of spells bad for the new games.
It does. It does. I mean, I bought it, so like they've got my money nonetheless. But what I said, and I'll repeat it here, is my concern is that it's kind of a wider picture. But my concern is that Silent Hill 2 ends up outselling Silent Hill F. And my
Mm.
concern with that is that basically what message does that send? And
Yeah,
while I appreciate that this is more than just a re-release, it's a remake. I want all I want the franchise to be successful going forward, not looking back.
yeah, of
You
course,
know?
yeah, of
And
course,
that
yeah.
that 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 does worry me. Have you got any desire to see a Silent Hill 3 remake though? And why is
I
that one being ignored?
I think that if it makes money, they'll do it. I think if two
What do you
remastering
mean
does
if
well,
what do you mean if it
so
remakes money?
sorry.
Because they are going to make money.
Yeah, so if they make the money that they hope it's going to make, because obviously we all know that making a profit's good, but it's making the profit
All
that
the
they want.
money.
Yeah,
All the
exactly.
money all the
Yeah,
time.
you know. So if it smashes what they expect, then I think they'll go, oh, okay. Number one, which obviously they're already doing it. If that smashes it, which it probably will, then they go, okay, let's try number three. And then when it fails miserably, they go, we ain't doing it anymore. That's what normally happens.
Possibly.
That's what normally happens.
Possibly.
And so,
The only thing you got to gauge is how popular were the games at the time. Silent Hill 3 was like fine, but it's never had the popularity
mm,
of the original two games. And a re-release is one thing, a remastering is another, but a remake, that's the cost, that's the difficulty, and that's the challenge. I'm not sure if we will. Just like I'm still not sure that we'll ever really see Code Veronica as a remake, because although you might love it, it was never a popular entry in the
Yeah,
franchise. It never
it was okay.
was. It,
Yeah, it was okay.
so like stuff like that, like that's what it comes down to. But it's weird. I'm surprised you don't love Silent Hill 3 more than Silent Hill 2. Because Silent Hill 3 is a direct sequel to Silent Hill 1.
In the first one, yeah. I mean, I think three sort of like disappeared under the radar, really.
It is a
So
bit of an under
from
radar.
yeah, I mean from one to two, and then to Homecoming, three just. I mean, my memory of three is very little, to be honest. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The fact that I mean, I can very little. I can very I can remember certain aspects of it, but
Yep.
it's been. I can't remember the last time I played a proper Silent Hill game was well over 10 years ago. And again, that's probably down to me. So I've had the opportunity to get these games, and probably the fact that we're talking about it now, I most definitely will look into these games again. I've got Silent Hill 1 on the PlayStation, literally in the back room, so I can always go back and play that too.
You can
So
always just go back and play it. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Silent Hill 3, like its stand-up moments aren't as memorable. And
mhm,
weirdly, you probably seen a lot of Silent Hill 3 from the Silent Hill movie sequel. Silent
yeah,
Hill, what was that called? Silent Hill. Fuck, what was that sequel called? It's
the,
called
the
something
second one,
stupid in it.
yeah,
Silent
yeah,
Hill like Requiem, Silent Hill Ascension, Silent
yeah,
Hill. It's called something dumb. What is it called? I'm googling it now.
yeah, it's
Sequel. Returned. No, that's the new one. Silent Hill Revelation. Told you it was a stupid name. But yeah, that had a lot of elements of Silent Hill 3 in it as well, being a direct sequel. But no, I remember Silent Hill 3 for a lot of reasons. I also remember Silent Hill 3 having a very strong scare as well, which
Mhm.
is the mirror room. The mirror
Oh
room,
yeah,
if you.
yeah, yeah.
But like, no, I just don't. Then here's the problem. I don't think Silent Hill 3 is as popular. What I would
Mhm.
actually like to see, if I was getting to like choose, right? I would like to see them bundle 3, 4, and Origins into a collection and just re-release them. Re-release them as
Yeah,
a three collection, and that way you can get to play 3. But then 3 is probably a stronger entry than 4 and Origins. That's the thing. It's a bit like a bit of puzzle in that regards. But
yeah.
maybe something like that could work. That way you kind of get to play a few. I would really, really, if I had to choose one, I would really like to see 4 get a re-release. I really would, because
Mhm.
after watching gameplay videos and all of that, I'm like, it probably will be terrible, and isn't really Silent Hill, but I would definitely like to play it.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the sort of thing they do. They would release obviously the remastering of the second one
I'm not
and
sure
the
you can get
first
away
one,
with it
whatever.
anymore. I'm not sure you can get. People have got such a demand now.
Yeah.
People have such a demand, such a high demand now for remakes. Like
Mm,
the bar's been set pretty fucking high, really high by gonna say, invoke the name again by Resident Evil.
of course, of course.
So I'm not really sure you can get away with re-releases of these major franchise entries.
Mm.
Now,
So,
go on?
no, I was going to move on to the movies and discuss the movies and
Mm.
see what you on your opinion on what you think you would change from the first film, for example. Like, did you think like the casting was right, despite obviously everyone loving Sean Bean as much as I do? Do you think he was
Yeah.
the right person for that role,
Oh,
or
well, we did a They Made What into a movie about the first one, and I pretty much
yeah,
stand by what I say. It's a flawed movie, but I think there was a genuine effort to stay as true to what a version of Silent Hill, a version, and I think that's the thing. You can get away with doing it because Silent Hill is a very malleable world. It's not.
mm,
There's no strict rules. I think they did a good job of trying to create something that was accessible to all. I praise it for some of its risk-taking moments, a very gory ending, some of the challenging moments. I also appreciate its dark ending as well. I think the first Silent Hill film is good. I still think it's good. I think
yeah,
it's long and it probably could be tidied up and, given a little bit more
mm,
of a better treatment here and there. And there are some elements I don't like, but I think it holds up well enough. I think it's a
Yeah,
good film.
yeah.
The second one is a fucking disgrace. I said it at the time, and I still stand by it. We rewatched it and talked it through, and any of its entertaining moments are completely ruined by an awful cast, story, visuals, everything.
Mm.
Fucking hell. That movie, oh my god, doesn't it make you want to punch Kit Harington in a? And like again, like I think we said at the time, dude's a good actor. God, he sucks in that movie. I'm an American with a northern accent. Oh, come on, guys. What are we even doing?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. My views haven't changed, like in that regards. And outside of the franchise, like, is there anything else outside of the games and the movies that you've done Silent Hill wise?
No, no,
No, nothing. Never read anything. Never seen anything.
nope. No, no. I said didn't know there was any books or stuff like that. I said there's no TV
Keep
series, sir.
talking.
Yeah, I
Keep
said
talking while I just get something.
yeah, yeah. Said. I mean, I didn't realize. I presume it was a comic book. I think I read somewhere, or that it is a book about it. But TV series wise, I didn't think there was anything to do with it. TV series wise, so. But I mean, I've seen like a concept of the art wise, and that
Yeah.
are been posted together. But that's about it, really.
Why am I thinking there's a movie that's heavily inspired by it? What is
I mean,
it?
it wouldn't surprise me if there's an animated movie or something, but then we would have covered that, surely.
No, I don't think that is the case at
Mm.
all. No. I mean, Jacob's Ladder. How? No, this is all. Yeah, I mean, weirdly, one of the things I always thought was quite frightening is or like more, like is sort of the half true story behind Silent Hill. You know about this, right?
I think I don't know the answer because I think I've heard some things about like the
Right.
what's it
So
called like the
let me explain it. Right. So it's not a true. Don't Silent Hill's not based on a true story, obviously, people.
yeah,
However, it's used inspiration from a different couple of different sources, and one that's perhaps more obvious than other is the real life ghost town of Centralia in Pennsylvania in the US. And basically, has had an underground coal mine that's been on fire since 1962. Basically, the fire of this coal mine continues to burn underground. It's self-sustaining. Can't put that
wow,
out. You can't put it out. So basically, that fire releases toxic gases, creates steam, cracks in the ground. The town is evacuated. Um, basically, today, all the town does exist. I think like its roads are like basically all overgrown. There's very few people. Uh, as of 2020, only 5 people still live there.
wow, that's a proper
Go check
ghost hunt
out
there.
pictures. Go check out pictures of it,
Yeah,
and you can kind of see it. And it is like stuff like that is kind of that's spooky, you know. Like I find that kind of spooky. But the
yeah,
idea of a
someone,
coal mine, a big
yeah.
coal mine under the town that's just burning, and has been burning for nigh on 60 plus years.
That's mental. And I presume like the steam and it's like the whole like mist sort of thing around the town sort of thing. Like
Well, it's not as obvious as that because it doesn't drop. But like
yeah,
we'll see pictures where, and it's more about the toxic fumes and the danger. Like it's got an air of dangerous reality to it.
yeah,
But like I can't picture that concept of like, what do you mean it's been burning for 60 plus years? Put it
yeah,
out, and then you're like, oh no, it's a coal mine. Like it's self-sustaining. You can't just
yeah.
what how do you even begin to put that out?
Pour water on
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it.
yeah, like it's like trying to put out Chernobyl. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's not.
Yeah,
You can't just go in there and chuck a bucket of water over it. You know, it doesn't really work that way. So
yeah. And
yeah,
after that,
but you should read up on that. It's a really interesting story.
yeah, no, it sounds yeah, and the fact that there's still people living there, which is just like mental.
Well,
That's
since
proper
2020, that
creepy.
was 6 years ago, so I can't
Mm.
imagine as much left. And I understand, like you and I can't just go there.
No, yeah.
You don't like that, you know. But while you're at it, you should pick up or borrow this from me. This is a fairly fat graphic novel book. It's an omnibus called the Silent Hill Omnibus, which collects over 400 pages of IDW Silent Hill comic books into one volume. The collection includes these stories: Silent Hill Dying Inside, Silent Hill 3 Bloody Tales, and Silent Hill Dead Alive. all written by novelist Scott Siensen and featuring art by Ben Templesmith. For those who read 30 Days of Night, he's the artist here. So you get imagery like that.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's
So
a full, very, very big, 400 pages long mix of comics.
that'll definitely
Yeah.
be intriguing if it does. Oh
Well, borrow it from me. When we next meet up,
yeah,
I'll bring it and
yeah,
you can
yeah.
have a little flick through on that. That's that and this crazy story I've got. Do you remember the Trocadero?
Okay, dear.
Mm. It still exists in Leicester Square, London, but it's not as it used to be. These days,
Yeah.
it's more about party games and bowling and stuff like that. The Trocadero was a multi-floor entertainment place in Leicester Square in London, and
Mm.
it had arcade machines. Oh, it had arcade machines. Do you remember the days of arcades, Damon? Ah, there's
I do.
something to get nostalgic over, right? But yeah,
Yep.
in there, one of the last times I went to the Trocadero with my wife, we went and we were like, oh, let's go to the arcade part. And it was basically on its last legs. Very few games were left. It was all a bit run down.
Mm.
And they were all kind of buried on a different, like in a corner, hidden away, like they were shameful. And there, I came across a Silent Hill arcade game. Yes. I'm going to see if I can find out what it was called.
That's got to be like
Oh,
a.
it was called Silent Hill the Arcade. It was just called Silent Hill the Arcade. And on the rail shooter, basically. And I don't remember much about it, but I remember being like, well, I'm playing this. And I just remember using a light gun to shoot like nurses and fucking Pyramid Head and shit like that, you know, in like a House of the Dead style thing. Don't
Yeah.
remember much beyond that, but I was just another thing that I remember. And after that, the Trocadero would transform completely, and I've never seen that thing since. Well, arcades, actual
Mm.
arcades, are like a dead thing. But yeah, Silent Hill the Arcade is one of the other things I've played.
Yeah, that's got to be like a rare moment in history because you know so that sort of thing it doesn't exist anymore.
Well,
You
it
know.
does in countries that actually give a shit about stuff like this. You
Yeah,
go
yeah, of
to
course.
Japan, it's not an issue.
Uh,
Here, it's just like nope, nobody wants them. Nobody, you know. If I had funds, man, if I had
oh yeah,
infinite funds and rich, I am buying a property. I am filling it up with arcade machines. I am creating my own arcade. You know, and I know part of the problem is because, of course, repair and fixing and all of that is a bit of an. I know the issues around it, but man, it would be
yeah.
fucking cool, wouldn't it? You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So that would have been a proper. You should have got like a photo of yourself playing it as an ad.
Oh,
Yeah,
you know, now I would. Nowadays I would
yeah.
nowadays I would have Lou hold film me playing it. Do you know what I mean? But back
Mm,
then I wasn't even on the internet, let alone
yeah,
doing GBHBO. Do you know what I mean? So like I wouldn't have cared at that time. It's a real shame.
yeah.
Well, how should we end this? What haven't we talked about really? Oh, okay. When you think of Silent Hill, is there any what music jumps out at you?
Oh, I mean, I'm going to go for an obvious one for me too. It's the very opening scenes of the game and the opening credits where
That
of that
weird
bloody
diddly
yeah
jarring kind of thing that kicks into a
it,
guitar tune.
yeah that tune there even now I can hear it in my head
Yeah.
and it's always stuck there and it's not the best. And it's actually quite annoying actually when you think about it. But it's one of those things that over the years that I'll always it's always been drummed in my head, you
Yep.
know, and you know, but I suppose every time you enter the dark world, you know, was always a nice tune. But the opening one for me, yeah.
I mean, I find this really interesting because I think whereas Resident Evil has quite iconic music, Silent
Hmm.
Hill only has a couple of things. And weirdly, again, a lot of them come from. So, Promise, James's ending, of course, is probably one of the most famous pieces of Silent Hill music. Now, what I find really interesting is that the movie would use the themes from Silent Hill 2 and to the point where people started to become convinced that those were like that was the Silent Hill theme in general. but there really hasn't been a theme. It's more the theme of Silent Hill 2 to do with James's ending. Yeah, Promise is basically the one that most people think of when they think of Silent Hill music. That, alongside that jarring introduction to Silent Hill. Because remember, Silent Hill game, you forget this, had this really odd intro.
Yep.
Where you had like a trailer, almost like a slight trailer of game events before you get to the main menu. That's still really weird, actually, when you think about that.
Yeah, it's like an opening scene of the main character and his wife and
Like
the
you
dark
see him
figure.
sitting up, you see Dahlia, you will see all some very strange stuff, right? But here's what I'm getting at, right? If I was to ask you, name 10 pieces of Resident Evil music that stick out, you could probably tell me exactly where they are. Police station, Resident Evil 1 upper floors, the basement with the plinky plonky music, Resident Evil's end credit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, the famous one of when you're in the shark tank with that weird
Dun,
yeah yeah
the plinky plonky one. The dun, 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 dun,
yeah
dun. Yeah, like I call it a plinky plonky one because I think it's designed to sound, because it's got like an echo, and I think it's designed to sound like water's
water
dripping.
dropping
That's why I call it the plinky plonky one.
yeah.
Hey, let's not forget fucking Resident Evil 1's end credits. Guitar.
Oh.
Fucking, you've just played this horror game. Now here's some guy rocking out with a guitar. Yeah! Fucking
Yeah,
Resident Evil, man. That's hilarious. But Silent Hill's
yeah.
got nothing like that. Nothing like that. And that's really intriguing. Yet, it still has some memorability. Some of the music, like, and it's not even really music, is fucking insane. Of like, so there's some really odd moments. I mentioned earlier on the bridge crossing part.
Yeah.
Do you remember that when you activate the bridge and start to cross over to the next part of Silent Hill, the music becomes really intense suddenly? Do you remember that? Really intense. And all it is, and it ends the moment you go to the other side, because it goes to a loading screen, a crossover point, and then that music's just gone. But why? Why? It's so random. But it's the atmospheric stuff I mentioned. Do you remember kind of how it sounds in the sewers section? It's got a really haunting thing, but also the music and the stuff that plays during the end boss, which is mostly just noise and screaming. Like all that shit. That stuff's crazy. I think that's really, really cool. Really, really cool. But not as memorable as what we get in, say, Resident Evil.
That is true, but I think there's one scene which I don't think we've actually mentioned, and actually it's actually probably, for me, it was like one of the greatest scenes in the gaming for that time, was obviously the whole Lisa Garland thing.
Oh, of course we haven't mentioned it. You're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, you're talking about emotional weight. Yeah.
So I mean, you talk about obviously Resident Evil. Obviously, you had your moments of Resident Evil, but this was like the first big revelation. The truth about her, and it was shocking at the time, especially for a first playthrough of this game. And it was just it was a massive moment.
Talking to how fascinating is it going to be to see how the remake handles that side of things, because it is a very impactful moment, and you're right to use that comparison to Resident Evil, because Resident Evil didn't really have a lot. Saying that though, like, maybe time has dented that, because I'm sure we would have both been heavily shocked by Wesker is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Barry working with him. I mean, like, it's easy to forget, but like, how shocked were we when Enrico, this character, suddenly gets shot by some, who's that villain running around? Do you know what I mean? Like, and he might have suspected Wesker because he was behaving weird, but we didn't know it. Just like, let's be honest, even in the back of your head, she's the only one alive in this hospital. How?
Yeah. I suppose, like, for a first time playthrough, I mean, obviously now you look back and you go, it's like, it's quite obvious.
I think
when
it's
you
easy,
think about it.
to a degree, but it doesn't still necessarily make a lot of sense. But it is an impactful moment, and I do agree with you. Stuff like that has heavier, like, it's weightier than perhaps than what Resident Evil offered. So that is pretty cool, and it also does come with a very cool one-time only theme.
Yeah.
But weirdly, actually, from that entire scene in Silent Hill, is actually, I think the worst part of it is that I think is like when he kind of closes. It's not that you don't shoot her. You don't get to kill
Yeah,
her. You don't have to do anything like that. He leaves, closing the door behind him, and you hear her crying on the other side of it. And then if you go back into that room, she's just not there.
yeah, she's gone. Yeah.
Like that's, I think that's more. I think that's more horrible, and I suppose that's actually a really worthy thing to praise.
Mm. Yeah, again, obviously, in when they remaster it, and this scene, the scene where she's like reaches out to you, and I don't know, like the
Oh,
blood
the
pouring
blood,
down her
yeah.
face, it's going to be
I'm
masterful if they do it correctly.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will because
Yeah,
I'm really intrigued as well. Because going back to Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 2, of course, is a character that is dealing with repressed memories and issues around the sexual abuse of her father.
yeah,
It results in a boss fight that I still think is one of the most disturbing boss fights ever from the original game, which is the bed monster with the
mm.
pistons coming out of the wall.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's not subtle in the slightest. It's telling you exactly what this monster is. And obviously the fate of that character is really fucking dark as well.
mm.
Like, I haven't looked into how that character's handled in this remake. I hope
Mm.
they do it really well because that's a really cool. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking, then I guess Silent Hill, like we should do a versus, which is like Silent Hill versus Resident Evil. I'd have to come up with the questions. Which game is more psychologically damaging? I think Silent Hill probably wins. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll always go back to the fact, obviously, zombies are so overplayed nowadays, and where Silent Hill did something very different, it was like demons and stuff like, where demons, I know nowadays demons is everywhere in old films and all that, but back then it wasn't a major thing, where zombies
I
was,
th- I agree and disagree with you. I agree in the sense that it was quite, but I think if there's an area that Silent Hill will remain weak in my head, and this is often across the board, but definitely the first game, isn't its enemy style. If we narrow, let's just break down now Silent Hill's enemies. So, squeaking babies that don't do anything,
Mhm.
little babies with claws that hang onto your legs. Oh no, flying dog-like creatures,
Yep.
skinless dogs. That's just from Resident Evil. Later on, the sort of weird monkey things. What else we got? The possessed nurses and doctors. Don't forget there are doctors in that as well.
Yep.
Then we have the bosses. We have the bug, the
Mm.
moth. What other bosses we got? Who am I forgetting? Who am I forgetting? Who do we fight in the school? Who do you fight in the school? Who am I forgetting? On the roof, you fight. Oh, what do you fight on the roof? It's on the roof, isn't
Yeah,
it? Fuck.
yeah.
What's the boss you fight on the roof? Oh, wow. I can't. Mine's gone completely blank. Oh,
Yeah,
there
I
could be
can't think of
Silent Hill bosses.
I can't. It's definitely on the roof of the school.
It is, isn't it? Silent Hill
Yep.
bosses, right? No, not abstract. No, this is just showing me a list of all of the ones. I kind of wanted it to be the original. No, I can't remember. List of bosses and Silent. Nope, that's another one. I mean, Sybil later on in the carousel. No, again, it's Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 just has better bosses. That's what that
Well,
is.
according to the, you got Incubus, twin feeder, split head.
Oh, yeah. No, the
Yeah,
basement of the school. The basement,
yeah,
not the roof.
yeah.
The
You're
split head monster. It opens
yeah,
up its
split head.
head wide. And then you
Yeah,
shoot it. That's actually a pretty cool looking boss. But how does that
yeah,
work in conjunction to sort of psychological horror? The boss side of Silent Hill kind of sucks.
yeah.
Resident Evil had cool bosses and got better and better with that, particularly in regards to how it ties into the story.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you were trying to say previously too was the fact that overall, maybe five different enemies, if
Mm.
you, about, which is not a lot really.
And I understand like Resident Evil doesn't have tons of ones, but like you are dealing with very unique and clever ideas here.
Mm.
Even at late game, you're getting like those fucking running along the roof with their claw monsters, different
Yeah.
variations of zombies. Look what Resident Evil 2 did with its variations as
Mm.
well. That's a weak kind of area as far as I'm concerned. But one last thing I think we can praise Silent Hill for as well across the board, and if we're going back to the original as well here, is the fact that, unlike, again, using Resident Evil as the comparison, you forget that it's easy to forget that Silent Hill had multiple endings. Now, although
Mm.
Resident Evil was about character saving, none of it really made that much of a difference as far as the end goes. Whereas
Yeah.
Silent Hills was significantly different. And
Yeah.
obviously, you had the fun aspect of even trying to get some of the more challenging endings, like the UFO ending, the dog ending, and stuff like that. So that's always pretty cool. I hope that stuff remains in the Silent Hill 2 remake and the upcoming Silent Hill 1 remake.
You you would think it's got to be an achievement to
It's
get
iconic.
all
Well,
yeah
it's an iconic aspect of Silent Hill, isn't it? You know,
yeah. You know,
I wish I could
surely.
remember. I
I mean,
wish I
surely
could go on.
in the start they will go. You know, it's either one achievement to get all secret endings or an achievement for each ending.
Mm,
Surely,
no, it will be. It will be.
yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, what was I going to say? Because I'm going to wrap this up. I had something in my head then. It was about Silent Hill. I've forgotten what it is. All right. No. Well, I suppose we're up there. Silent Hill as a franchise. What is now as we walk away from it your overriding memory gonna always be? Like, what's the one thing you're gonna take away from us talking about it for an hour?
I'm gonna go for an obvious word, but it's nostalgia.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
nostalgia for me, you know, and I just hope that with the re-releases that it does well. It does well going forward. You know, obviously I'm talking on a memory of a game of that I played like the first one would have been 15 years ago.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and obviously the previous
Longer
one
than
10
that,
years ago.
dude. Longer than that. Longer than that. It came out
Actually
in
longer than that. Yeah,
1999. We played this game when it came out. You played it back in 1999. That makes it 27 years ago.
you know, yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah. Well, there you go then. Yeah. So so I've not played the first one since probably 2000 and 2001, roughly. You
Are
know,
you going to
so.
go and play this now?
Probably, yeah. No, I'll check out the other ones on Xbox and see if I can see if I can get any of like two, three, or four or
I think
whatever.
you can still get the HD collection, but I think it might still be high priced if that's the case. Don't pay. It's not worth. It's worth a couple of quid. Don't pay more than that.
Yeah. Of course, of course.
I actually agree. I think the overriding thing to take away from this is that with Silent Hill, for now, we still look back rather than forward.
Mm,
And that's a bit of a shame. It does speak volumes about the strength of those original games. I think the original trilogy is what we still reference. Although it's one that diminishes as it goes on, I still think we still talk one, two, and three. And
mm,
it's between that one and two, really, where the real brilliance lies. That's something Resident Evil can at least attest to say. Resident Evil had its ups and downs, but Resident Evil has been doing some of its best stuff in recent years,
yeah.
as well as its nostalgic stuff. Silent Hill, for me, still lives in nostalgia. In fact, the movie came out, what, 2006? So even
Mm,
like that's like a fucking nostalgic thing alone. That's
yeah.
over 20 years ish about. There you go, you know? So there's that. And that we have the opportunity to bring this franchise back into fruition, back into sight, into full view for everybody to thoroughly enjoy. Not just with Silent Hill F, but also these remakes with Silent Hill 2 and the upcoming Silent Hill 1. And I hope this is an opportunity for the franchise to have a bit of a rebirth. I'm not
Yeah.
convinced. I'm not convinced. But I'm hopeful that at least it's getting some love. It's getting some love. And I do think remakes of both those two games and a third one if ever happens is a smart thing to do, and
Mm,
certainly in regards to the first one it is more than needed. I
yeah.
just yeah, it's just a shame that it's more nostalgia looking back rather than talking about, look, I played this, because the most recent games are Downpour and Homecomings. Well, I remember bits of them. Nothing about them is iconic. Nothing
Mm.
about them stands out. If you were to ask me, name a boss from either game, Homecoming, Downpour, what?
That's a
Name
problem.
the main characters from either. Isn't Homecoming? I remember he's come back from the army.
Yeah.
His little brother's dead and shit's going down in the town. That's why it's all
Yeah.
Silent Hilly. And at the end, spoilers, it turns out that he's lost his memory. He wasn't
Hmm.
in the army. He had been in a mental institution because he accidentally killed his younger brother because his
Yep.
father favored his younger brother. But he only
What's his
favored his
name?
younger brother because he was going to sacrifice the older one to some cult shit. Oh, I remember more about Homecoming's story. Homecoming's got a better story.
But
But I
what's
remember
his
nothing
name?
else about the gameplay.
What's
Nothing.
his name? Though? I can't remember his name. That's the problem.
All I'm picturing is James. I'm just picturing, when I picture this guy, all I'm picturing is James Sutherland from Silent Hill 2. Is it
Yeah.
not the same character? Are you Googling it?
Yeah.
You might as well.
Alex Shepherd, Adam Shepherd. So don't just
That's
put them
such a
brothers.
boring name.
Yeah, don't
Alex
put them
Shepherd.
brothers.
God damn it. I remember, though, Downpour's character's name.
There was a James though, James Wheeler.
I remember Downpour's name.
Mm.
Let's see if I get it right. Murphy Pendleton. Can you Google that for me? Murphy Pendleton. I'm sure of it. Murphy Pendleton.
Yeah, Murphy,
Yay!
Penton, Patrick Nappy, George Sewell. Yeah,
You are con being transported in a bus that crashes, and you wake up and you end up in a town that's very Silent Hilly, but it's all about rain. Oh, I remember actually. He's been convicted because he killed the man who killed his son. And it's about the guilt over that, and the rain signifies this villain who's a bit of a rip-off of the Deadly Premonition villain.
okay.
Right. You know what? Like, oh man, I call this nostalgia, but I'm like, were these better than I remember? I don't think they were. I think gameplay was a problem. I think gameplay was a problem. Controls were an issue, and so on. But the fact that it's all kind of coming back to, oh man, I'm on this nostalgia. I think Downpour ripped off Alan Wake as well, but not in a good way. Not in a good way. Not in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in a good way. You don't get excited. You're like, oh, more on it. No, no, not in a good way. But hey, I mean, maybe we'll come back to these if you play them and we can discuss those two games specifically. Maybe I'll watch like a playthrough or something. But yeah, we have a lot to say about Silent Hill. We've gone over an hour because Silent Hill is a franchise that we've lived and breathed since we were teenagers, youngsters, kids. But like the franchise itself, when it went off the deep end and disappeared, so did we. I didn't think or care about Silent Hill for many, many years. And I'll admit, I don't know if I care that much right now outside of just intrigued to play a good game in Silent Hill F and to see what the remakes do. We've constantly had to reference Resident Evil because to us, even though franchise-wise they didn't sit side by side and Resident Evil was always ahead of it, we played them roughly around the same eras, so they kind of sit in my head at the same time. When I think of the horror games that defined my youth, it's those two.
Yeah.
Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Nothing else. Even though I played tons more horror games, it's those two. That's where I'm at the rest of Resident Evil. But I still don't think Silent Hill holds any kind of like hold on me the way Resident Evil does. Even if you were said at the start, even though you said at the start, and I agree, Silent Hill, the original, no, in fact, all the first three games are scarier games.
Yes. But if you gave me a choice of a new Resident Evil game, I'm gonna go with Resident Evil. You know, or
100%.
Or another remake or whatever. I'm gonna go Resident Evil.
Yeah, Silent Hill F came out around the same time as the Requiem trailer for Resident Evil came about, and I was like, "Yep, Silent Hill. Shut up, you. Quiet, you. Go sit in the corner. Daddy's home. Resident Evil's home. You know, let's see what's going on there. You know, no, I feel exactly the same as well. I'm always going to be more interested in what Resident Evil does, particularly as no secret. I think what Resident Evil has been doing in the last couple of releases with 7 and Village has been fabulous. So I can't wait to see what Requiem brings.
Still not played 7 or Village yet, so I'm still waiting for them to either come on Game Pass or drop down in price, but nothing at the moment. So
crazy. You're going to love them so much. All right, we'll have to do maybe the next Let's Talk will be Resident Evil then. Considering we've referenced it so much, maybe that's the one we'll do next. But for now, this is us talking about Silent Hill, the franchise as we see it and know it. If you got any thoughts you want to share, let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.